Hello, everybody. It's Stippling Vaughn, and today it's time to do our review of the latest Indiegogo campaign that has arrived in the mail, Adam Post Mermaids. So, I've read the book, and after I read this book, I went through the making of book, and I'm going to go be doing some page to page comparisons between this one and this one, okay? But overall, let's get right to it. Okay. Like I said, when I did the reveal, when I did the unboxing, you can see the slight crease, which is good because you know that this is going to be a perfect bound book. So now he shipped it. Again, see how it's got the type where the adhesive is all the way across the back. That's very good when you're shipping stuff because you want a book that doesn't get damaged. It helps protect it from the elements because it's one thing when you're shipping, you don't have any control of the elements. It could be in a downpour and it's being shipped. Okay, the post service, okay, or UPS or FedEx, they don't care. They don't care. Okay, that is on you when it comes to shipping. Okay, so I got the virgin cover, has no letter, no title on it, but it doesn't need it. Honestly, it's that good. Right off the bat, Adam Post, he's the one who did the book, but it was script, pencils, colors. Okay, it was done by other people. Okay, one thing it doesn't include on the front here is it doesn't include who the letterer was, which I was very curious about. I'm like, who's the letterer? So, but still, nice. I like how they put the coat of arms on the front of it, and then we go straight in. Okay, now we are given one of the nice, beautiful character designs, and all these character designs, both in this book and this book, are gorgeous. The ones in this book are color. The ones in this book are black and white. Okay, so, and you can see how there's been change. Okay, colors are very good. Um, there is some push and pull with this because of them enlarging some panels and shrinking some panels. Um, I'm about to go into it, but the way the story was done, the way it was, I guess the script was written and how it was drawn was you had 6 panels, okay, on every single page, okay, and what they did was, and it had the didn't have the bleed, so they've done a lot of work, and that's the reason why the book took so long to come out, okay, so when you compare, there we go. When you compare, so let's get some a little bit more colorful. Yeah, there we go. So when you look at this panel here, okay, because they shrunk it, the lines get even tighter, okay, as opposed to here, they enlarged it and the lines are thicker, and where normally most would put more feathering to show more hair, more uh, hair strands, okay, because that's what makes many times when you're doing women, okay, showing the various strands of hair accentuates a woman's looks, okay. uh, if you look at even when you do, because you treat women's hair like a shape, and you want to take that shape, break it into additional shapes and additional shapes. Okay, specifically we're talking about women who are under the water, so you're going to want to have the hair having that floating look on them. Okay, so. But overall, I'm not going to go through too much of this book. Okay, I'm only going to go through the first like 4 or 5 pages. Okay, so we've got the beginning, and then we go straight into uh, the creation myth of where everything came out. This book overall, okay, is again, we have much more evident of push and pull. Okay, this book is a foundation book. Okay, uh, by and large, the whole book is world building, establishing all the characters, establishing the world that they live in. Um, I'll be completely honest, I was slightly disappointed. I was expecting there to be a little bit more action. I would have preferred if there was more action on it. Um, the second book, and I really do hope there is a second book to this. The second book, I would really appreciate if there was a lot more action, a lot more splash pages, or when you're doing action. Okay. Now, back in the day of like Kirby and other classic artists that established all this. Okay, okay, they kept themselves to a grid format, and then what they do is they just pull in close, pull back, pull in close, pull back. Okay, to establish the action. Um, Now these days, most artists when they're doing a lot of action, they minimize the panels. They minimize the number of panels they do. They might have like one large panel with like two inserted panels to give you the feeling. Because remember, you're not doing a blow by blow of the action. Okay, you're giving the feeling and the emotion of of the action and what's going on. You're not showing every single punch. You're not showing every single kick. You're not showing the reaction to every single blow. Okay, you're jumping between. You're jumping around to give you that idea of how fast and chaotic fights are. And so I would hope that in the second book that they'll go more with action and less panel sizes, and originally let the artist really just jump in there and do. Oh, okay, big ass fight between two mermaids. Okay, we're gonna have one, her tail's here, she come this way, her body's here, and the other one, her tail's here, but yet her body and head is here because she's getting punched, and we'll have a little insert panel here. Okay, really work with the motion of the mermaids. You can create a lot of directional control and change because of the fact that they have tails. And here's a perfect example. Okay, you're creating an S format. You have the circle. Okay, the hair is mimicking the circle. You could take this backdrop out, and this still works. Okay, because the hair directs you back in, the tail directs you back in, the body, the twist in the body. Okay, you want to see that in the motion of more of the motion of the mermaid. So, second book we're going to go to is the making of book. Now, because the book was so late, he included a lot of making of the book in this one. Okay, what I mean by that is he included in the back a listing of all the characters that are in the book. Okay, which gives you which is handy. What's even nicer is when you have two books side by side, and as you're coming across a character, if you need to know more about them or whatever, or you forget, you can reference this without having to jump back and forth in the pages of the main book. So. Again, like I said, this is a world building book. They introduced a lot of characters. The example I'll give you is Kyle Ritter when he did Starblades. Okay, he was doing world building. He was only having to introduce 6 characters, and when you're introducing like 6 characters, you can get away with a lot more action. I would have preferred if there was more action in Mermaids, but there was a lot of characters introduced. Okay, I want to say like 3 to 4 times as many characters introduced in this book as opposed to Starblades. So, and yes, of course, the backdrop is the Man in the Hat page. Almost done with it. Just have some work to do up here, and then once we're done, this page will be 100% done. So, okay. Much thicker book. I mean, you take a look at it. I mean, he really put a lot into it. Okay. Um, Again, opening page. Okay. Got one of the covers listed here. And then we go straight in. I'm not going to. You have all the various characters. You notice how, again, how this was the character from the cover. And it's still, even as black and white, it still stands out. Okay? You have the hair pointing in. You have the sash. You have the tail. We got octopus soldier. And again, even with her body being different, with it being an octopus, it's still, you can show direction and twisting. Um, Difference between a young girl and an older woman. See how she's got the more jagged ridges, and here it's nice and soft and smooth and small. Okay. One thing I do give a great big uh, applaud them on is, even though it's a book on mermaids, none of them have been sexualized. Okay, we'll use this soldier here as an example. Okay, she's wearing a bikini top. Okay, so you could really uh, go in, make her tits really big and make her bikini really small, but no, none of them have uh, extremely enlarged breasts. None of them have really, even though most of them are having like bikini style tops, never once do you get that feeling of sexualization. Okay? And that's important because with a book like this, you don't need to have the women sexualized. Okay? And you don't need to have them drawn in sensual poses. Okay? So I do applaud uh, both the designer who did these type of pages and the person that did the actual pages. Never once did I feel like the women were being sexualized. Okay, now I'm not going to go any further really in this part because if you want to see all of them, then if there's someone else who's going to be doing a review and show all the pages, that's on them. Me, I support the creator, and I think the book was well worth it. Okay, so we now go into the next section, which is character descriptions. Again, he put this in the back of the book because of being so late. Personally, I liked having all the character descriptions here, because that way I wasn't having to flip back in pages of the comic book. I could just go straight here as a reference to go over the various characters, give me a reminder or a heads up. Another thing also that's nice uh, is it just goes it's to the point. There's not a whole lot of unnecessary details. Okay. The only thing I would have preferred is if, like, Vava. Okay. It would have been nice if we'd had a little facial image of Vava next to it to help give this reminder. Okay. Then we go straight into the original. Again, we have one of the other covers. And then lastly, we have the script and the original layouts. Okay. And as you can see, originally it was done with this format. Okay. And what I was doing when I went through after I went through the book, and we're going to go through it right now, so give me a minute here. Let's flip this over and quickly take the other book back out of the packaging. So, okay. So I'm not sure how we're going to be doing this. Let's see here. That gets almost everything there. So you take a look, and we've got, it was a 6 panel layout, and what they did was they went in and they enlarged this one, shrunk down these, and enlarged these two. Okay, and then we go into the next panel over, and here's where it really becomes even more apparent. Okay, is you can see where, how they did it. Okay, and how right off the bat how it's improved by just skipping these two panels altogether. This panel is now the large panel, and you can see where we've got an improvement in the layout. And I think this was a very smart move that they did. Okay, so they took this panel, moved it over, and then we have got the 6 panel layout. They shook it about. This panel and this panel are all but the same panel now. And then this panel was a small panel enlarged. When you get these panels, okay, you're going to see some where the lines are thicker. And they do what a lot of people do in these is they'll put a color tone in here, kind of fade it. Okay, so it's, even though it's large, you don't necessarily see any of the imperfections, because when you have something small, okay, and you enlarge it, okay, the imperfections become more apparent. So it's a good trick. So I'm not going to go through any further of the book. I think actually, you know what, I am going to go through one more page here. This page here, okay, they took this page, okay, enlarged it, took this panel, put it in a circle bubble, so here, okay, so they really improved it. Okay, and then this panel was eliminated completely, and then they just took these panels, okay, and used them, this one being enlarged also. Okay, so I thought it was a good move. I thought they did a very good job of using current technology to give you brand new layouts. I thought it improved it greatly. Like I said, my main critique in this is there was a lot of world building and not a lot of action. And even in the areas where there was action, or let me put it this way, because they're all underwater, there was a lot more scenes where they could have saved the various talk by more of them showing them swimming around and living in an aquatic environment, as opposed to simply showing them all but sitting at a table. For me, it's one of those where it's like, would they really have tables if they lived in an underwater environment? Okay, because everything floats. You'd almost like one of those where it's like they would almost have like more of, I would say, like a pedestal coming down with little pockets off the side that you'd set stuff in, that they would then swim around. Because no one ever, and you wouldn't really, and again, you have people sitting in chairs. It's an aquatic environment. Would somebody really be sitting in a chair in an aquatic environment when you, by definition, if you're in water, you just float? Okay. So we've had a big week this week. So you got the review for Mermaids. I got a message today or yesterday. I didn't check my email yesterday, so I checked it this morning. Starlight Cats is on its way. It's coming via UPS, so it could be, I could get a knock on the door while I'm on the phone while I'm doing this with you guys, or it may be at end of the day. Shane Davis' Starlight Cats. I'm looking forward to that one. The one book I still am waiting on that I haven't gotten yet, and to me this is an important book, is Pirate Queen. Pirate Queen, I saw it. No one was talking about it. Okay, on all the shows I was watching at the time, back in April, okay, no one was talking about Pirate Queen. And I didn't know who Mandy was, didn't know Clint was. Okay. Um, since then, I have learned who they are. But back then, I didn't know who they were. Okay. And for me, Pirate Queen's an important book because Pirate Queen is a true crowd-funded book. And when I say that, okay, um, Ethan, Graham, Andy, Mike Barron, okay, all these people they've backed, okay, they're established artists and authors in the mainstream industry. They were no longer working there, okay. Um, the professionals that all the professionals and that's a show I watch every single week. I really do enjoy that show. Um, every single week, all 5 or 6 of them, they're all professionals. Okay, I would say Mandy and Clint are CG grown. Okay, they are independent artists and authors that have gotten their start or getting their funding through Indiegogo, and they are Comicsgate. Okay, and that's important because moving forward, as the mainstream, or as Dan Fraga is now referring to it, the lamestream, okay, the more it shrinks, uh, the more we're going to be going to crowdfunding. And it means we're going to be coming across more and more people like Mandy and Clint. And this is where it's going to be important because if this Pirate Queen book is good, okay, it'll probably be, I'm going to read it and carefully and look at the illustrations. And if the artwork's good enough, it may change my mind about the Blue Bombshell that he's doing right now. It may change my opinion on whether to get the Jack the Ripper Vampire Hunter. Okay, those two guys, I didn't know about them in mainstream, and as far as I know, they weren't. Neither of them were ever worked in the mainstream, and that's where we're going to get more and more artists. Now, I'll be one of those artists, okay, who never worked in the mainstream, and and their work will be circulated amongst all the different shows in Indiegogo. So that's where I'm anxious. That's where I'm more anxious for Pirate Queen than I am for Starlight Cats. Other reason for it is because I know when I get Starlight Cats, I'll be able to do an unboxing video. But as to when I'll actually read it, I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because my girlfriend is going to be taking that book from me immediately so she can read it. So she's going to read it as many times as she wants. So more likely, it's going to be, when I do Starlight Cats, it's going to be my review, and it's going to be using her opinion about the book. Okay? So, now, plug time. Okay. I'm doing my own story, and it's about 2 PA game wardens. And in a nutshell, they're the ones that investigate all the various creatures. Here, Pennsylvania, all the creatures like the werewolf, the mummy, Frankenstein's monster, bride, all the various creatures. They are all in Pennsylvania, and it's the job of the PA game wardens to keep them in check. So we've got an incident that's happened. We got a warden on the scene. He's being allowed past the police line. And as we see here, as they say hi to each other, we can start to see that it's starting to rain. We see even more witness of it raining. He's now looked underneath the tarp, and he doesn't like what he sees, and it's now time to call in the backup. So, and the big thing about my story is, of course, 100% of the work being done is stippled. It's all dots. And as you can see, the big advantage of working with dots is, and I'm going to pull you in down close, is you can see using this panel here, okay, we're not putting in any holding lines. Okay, I avoid holding lines as much as possible. I might put, like here, this is actually not a line. Okay, neither is this a line. They are a series of dots that are close to each other, but they are not connecting. Okay, and then we have all the facial expressions in here. Okay, none of them are lines. It's all the various tones, and that's how I work. So we're moving forward on this one. This is the page that when I do my demos for you guys to see, this is the page I'm using. That's the reason why it's still not done after like over a month of working on it. That's not that I'm not working on other pages. I work on other pages. The only time I do this page is when I'm doing the videos for you guys. So, but at any rate, so this is my story. This is what I'm working on. You can see how we've got more work to do up here, but we're almost done. Whereas like this panel here is 100% done. This page here is done. Okay, so I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you liked this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you do. And as always, remember, take life one dot at a time.